He won't tell you the truth, you know that. He'll make a joke, and you'll believe it. He'll exaggerate to make the story better. But it won't be the truth, just so you know.
Yes, of course I remember the first time I saw her. I remember everything about that night.
It was a newcomer's potluck at his place. My girlfriends talked me into going. It's not just couples, they said. It's couples, it's singles, it's a lot of women our age, just fun. Come on, you need to get out. No kidding. I've been married 48 years and then divorced for 2.
She got lost on the way. I was on the porch giving her directions over the cell phone.
The divorce came after my husband's second affair with my oldest friend. You don't come back from that, but I gave in. I went anyway.
I remember her car when they pulled up. Toyota Highlander. I told you, I remember everything about that evening.
Yes, I do remember how he was dressed. Black pants, black cashmere sweater, snow white shirt like his hair. Oh, he was a handsome guy.
Wearing? I don't know. I can't describe women's clothes. I guess you'd call it a suit, like something you'd wear at a business office. Pretty plain, definitely not a party dress. She was well kept, heavier than she is now.
He thought I was fat.
Hey, I'm all man. I like women. And I liked what I saw.
I absolutely wasn't dating them.
I've always been kind of a playboy. I skied in the winter, golfed in the summer. I freelanced with the women while I lived in California. But then I came to Salt Lake. It was all Mormon girls who married early and had babies. I was not going to get involved in that. Honestly, I liked being unattached. I was having fun.
My friends said he was the Romeo type. Well, he wasn't getting near me.
Her friends couldn't stand me, and they let me know it. They talked to her. He's too old for you. No one likes him. He's a chauvinist. He thinks wives are wrecking the country club. I mean, it's a men's club, for heaven's sakes. Yeah, I'm agitated. None of those friends were doing me any favors.
No worries, though, my friend said. He's a confirmed bachelor. 78, never been married. Imagine, 78.
I asked her about her car. I was just making conversation.
All he wanted to talk about was my car. It was like an inquisition. How many cylinders? Where did I get it? Why would I want a hybrid? All right, it wasn't a Lamborghini, but I loved that car.
To this day, she's interested in cars. I don't know one car from another.
My husband bought me a 2000 RX 350 Lexus for our 40th anniversary. After the divorce, I had a hard time even getting into that car. The Toyota was the first car I ever bought entirely on my own. I was proud of myself.
I was host for the party that night, and so there wasn't an awful lot of time to chat.
And so after all that about the car, he was very curt.
I guess I said something to offend her. I don't know what it was.
He wasn't interested in me, just the car. I'm used to coming in second place with men.
I remember being in the kitchen that night mixing drinks, and I could see her past the peninsula in the dining room, watching me, kind of evaluating me. I thought, maybe she's interested.
I thought he was an ass.
I always have that it's showtime feeling before a party. I wasn't drunk, but I was feeling pretty good. They used to call me the Merlot Kid. I might have been a little rough around the edges.
Just an ass.
I saw her a few times again after that night, from a distance.
But after a while, one of those potlucks was different. We were in the same old buffet line with our plates half full, and we started talking again, right there in the line. But this time it was different. I thought he was kind of interesting.
I worked at that conversation.
The line got tired of waiting and everyone flowed around us like water around a rock. We found a quiet corner.
And I kept talking. I wanted that to keep going.
After a while, people were cleaning up around us. Everybody else was gone, except my friends, of course, because I was driving.
I think her friends noticed.
I told my friends I liked him. You have got to be kidding, they said. Way too old for you. And none of us girls like him.
They thought she was nuts.
I wondered if maybe he would ask me out.
After a while, I asked her to go to the movies. She said, well, maybe, but she would have to meet me there. Seriously? In her 70s?
I hadn't dated since I was 17. I told him I had another date that night. So I would have to leave early. Sorry, I said, but I won't be able to linger.
And get this, she said she had another date afterwards. I asked her if it was anybody I knew.
I didn't want a serious relationship. I had seen my ex through a liver transplant and left a job I loved to do that. And then he filed for divorce. I was 68.
She was still standoffish, kind of defensive, you know.
I had no designs on him at all, on anyone really. But, all right, yes, it was a good night.
On Halloween, I finally got her to my place. We took turns answering the doorbell. She was very sweet with the kids, fun. I told myself, I think I'm falling for her.
And then I was gone all December to visit my sister.
By this time in my life, I was getting tired of being alone, tired of vacationing to fill up the holidays. I kept thinking about her. Maybe this was a chance to settle down. But it wasn't up to me, was it? She had the decision to make.
By the time I finally got home, the first thing I wanted to do was call him.
When she called me after all that time, I went out on a limb.
should have been pleased. But I wasn't. I guess I was still afraid. I must have sounded half crazy, but I just panicked.
She sounded a little upset.
I decided, all right, I had to break up with him, period. But I couldn't tell him that on the phone, could I?
I had no idea what she was thinking.
I was in my car on the way to his place, kind of, rehearsing what I was going to say. I'm so sorry. It just isn't going to work for me. And just then, Crystal Gale came on the car radio. It was "Listen to Your Heart." I teared up. But I kept driving. And then I really started crying. Crying and driving and sobbing and driving. And by the time I finally got there, and no one was more surprised by this than me, I told him I loved him too.
She told me she loved me too. Well, we were exclusive after that. I didn't waste any time. I started moving her things from her condo into my house, a little bit at a time every night, while she was at the hospital with her ex.
But I made it very clear I was not giving up my condo.
I met the guy once, but I really was never jealous. I understood why she had to be at the hospital.
I don't think he understood why I had to be at the hospital. But he was so sweet. He was so tender.
This was not puppy love, right? I mean, she was my lover. We were both all in. I could wait.
I've never known tenderness in a man before. Not in my father. Not in my husband.
Meanwhile, she gave herself to me 100%. I'm a trader by profession. She'd already given me all her assets to manage, just handed it over. Dangerous, right? I could have taken advantage of her. She shouldn't have done that, but she did. That's how much she trusted me.
That summer, I rented a cottage on the beach in California, Bodega Bay. I was going to write the book I always wanted to write, paid for it all in advance.
I asked her if I could go with her on a trip she'd planned for the summer. She told me no.
It was meant to be a time just for me, to write.
I wasn't having it, not this time. I proposed.
He proposed. We got married in Bodega Bay. Oh, it was beautiful.
Best time in my life. By the way, that black cashmere sweater, I still have it in the closet.
Sometimes when I look at him, especially in that sweater, he can still take my breath away.
She said I would lie to you, didn't she? But everything I've just told you is exactly true, as best as I can remember it. None of it is a joke. Every word of it, true.